Hello and welcome to the Stateside Soccer Show. My name is Jordan. With me, as always, is Logan. How are you today, Logan?
Anxious. Jordan, I was going to ask you this. I didn't even ask you off air, but we were talking about it. So my Pacers are in the Eastern Conference Finals. I want to ask you, how do you, and you and I have had this discussion somewhat, but how do you prefer to watch some of these big games? And then how do you cope during big games? Because I always feel it doesn't, like, I was pretty nervous the first couple of rounds, but as the rounds go on, I just I get nervous all day, and that's all I think about all day. But I just wanted to, what do you do? What do you do to cope during some of these stressful playoff games that you've been a part of, especially like with your Ravens? I mean, the Ravens have won a championship. Do you remember any of that? Like, as
Lots
far
of
as
Coke.
the stress,
Lots of Coke. Coke Zero.
not the stuff that you sniff. No, okay,
No,
yeah,
not
not
that
that
stuff.
kind.
Not the
Yeah,
pure uncut. No,
yeah.
no. I don't know. So yeah, we were talking about it last week, right? When I was
Yeah.
like texting you, like, doing anything for Pacers, like,
Yeah.
because I don't know, everybody's different, right? Like,
Yeah. You and I are different.
what? Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I'm Jordan. He's
Right.
Logan. 2023, Orioles make it to the postseason for the first time since 2014. No, since 2016. And we went to Looney's, a pub near me, and just it was I think for game one. I think it was game one of against the Rangers, and it just kind of felt like that type of thing for like, it's game one. I think it was like on a Friday or Saturday anyway, so it's like, all right, let's go catch the game. And we didn't get tickets to be in the stadium or anything because it was absurd first time in, like I said,
Oh yeah,
a long time, 7 years or whatever, that people were, so the prices were insane. So we went to a pub, and it was like, my grandmother, my mom, my dad, me, and just enjoying the moment, right? Being with other Oriole fans felt really cool. That's what, like, I wanted to do since I couldn't go to the game. I was like, let's go somewhere that's going to have that atmosphere. But we don't really do that for like the Ravens playoff games, and I think part of it is probably because they're in the playoffs almost every year as it is anyway. So it is like,
it's not a big deal.
Old hat, right? Yeah. The Super
Must
Bowl.
be nice.
Go ahead.
No, it must be nice.
Yeah. No, Dolphins fans are jealous. Yeah. The year we won the Super Bowl in 2013, it was we were at our house for the Super Bowl. Usually that's what I like to do for the Super Bowl. I don't like to go out a lot. I like to stay home, watch the trailers, and because sometimes I gotta do a podcast about them. But that type of stuff. And even though like baseball and soccer are my favorite sports, like the Ravens are like, they'll make me really nervous to where I get like, because it's one game, I guess, because like when it's the Orioles, you're like, okay, game one's done. Like, I'm not as nervous. It's like, okay, we gotta go try to win game two. But when it's a football game and there's only the one game, it is like, that's how I kind of feel with the Union. Like, I was so nervous MLS Cup, and that was something I really liked doing too. When it was MLS Cup, I put the video up a couple years ago, 2022. Is that 2022? Yeah. We went up. They had a watch party at Subaru Park, and we were with other fans. I got to see Todd, friend of the show, and Rich, my wife and I. Like, we were all sitting there watching the game on the scoreboard with a whole bunch of other fans, and that felt great. It kind of felt like being there since we couldn't host it.
Yeah.
And it was that was a great experience. But I would say, like, it's a little different, I guess, for me. Each thing. Soccer, I love being with the people. World Cup, when we played the last group stage game, I think it was. I think it was the last group stage game of that last World Cup in 2022. My dad and I went to the same pub we went to for the Oriole game, and we were around a bunch of U.S. fans, and it was awesome.
That one I feel like is different. Like I feel like that
Yeah,
one,
like World Cups, like yeah, watch parties.
yeah, like when you're going to different like breweries and stuff, and obviously you're probably gonna be around more Oriole fans, but like down here in Orlando, it's such a transient like population that like
Yeah,
you go there and I went to ESPN to watch the Cubs in 2015 and play the Cardinals, and it was half and half. But like there was like there's this mutual respect, and everybody's pretty respectful about it. But the World Cup, I always felt like that was different because everybody I mean, 100% of us probably are rooting for the same team, so
yeah.
a little different. But go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
No, I was just saying, so like soccer is one of those where I love being with the crowd, even if I can't be like at a official watch party event or at the game.
mhm.
If it's like my team playing, I like being there. Or, even when it's not my team, I go out a lot when it comes to. It sounds like I'm like some drink. I don't even drink, but I mean like it's just like to go to restaurants and watch the
Yeah.
games. Like when World Cup 2018, my dad, my mom, me, and my friend David went out to the final at Miller's, the one near here, obviously not Florida, but
Mhm.
there was like, and there was a bunch of people there. I think it's like 11 a.m. final too, and there was a ton of people there ready to be there. I've gone to Euro games there or like other restaurants, and you know, just to experience it. There is, I think, something really cool about the soccer culture in America.
Mhm. Yeah.
No matter what team it is, what tournament it is, you can usually find a bar or restaurant playing the game that you want to see, and other people show up in their jerseys, and it's just like this cool atmosphere
Yeah.
that I really dig, and it makes me really excited for next year for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Like I think next year will be I mean, Jordan, imagine these places like Kansas City, San Diego, New York City, like they're gonna be big hubs of like go gather at the garden to go watch this game. Like they're gonna open stadiums probably for watch parties. And if you're smart, if you're an NBA franchise, I'd be like, yeah, come use my arena. Like come hang out in
Yeah,
my
air conditioned.
courtyard. Right. Yeah, throw it open, put some concessions out there. I mean, I know you got to pay people, but you could definitely convince people to gather in large. But they do them outside of those stadiums. Like I know Madison Square Garden does it. I think right outside in Cleveland, they usually do like a big watch party for the World Cup and stuff. But yeah, no, it is like you said. I think it's very cool because I think the other thing too is like, and you notice this more so probably because soccer's gotten more popular. Obviously, we all watch their Premier League because we like watching top league soccer, and every there's pubs in all of our cities. If you're listening to this outside the U.S. or just catching on to soccer, there's pubs that actually, if you go to your favorite Premier League team's website, or if you Google U.S. pubs to go watch with your supporter groups. They actually have supporter groups. Like in Orlando, we have a Man City pub, we have an Arsenal pub, we have a Chelsea pub, and they're all really cool old English style pubs that you can go watch. And they open the doors early, and they'll serve like English breakfasts, and then obviously booze in the morning at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. whenever they open for Premier League. But you're right, there is such a good culture around soccer, even though it's not the most popular. But once World Cup rolls around, I mean, this nation comes alive, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know. Good question though. Let us know your thoughts. How do you guys like to celebrate the games? If you can't be at the game, is kind of the thing. Like for
Yeah,
big games, obviously you want to be there, but
right.
if you can't for whatever reason,
Nobody can
um,
afford to now, Jordan.
yeah, be at the
Unless it is
game.
MLS, right?
Like what? Uh, where do you like to go? What do you like to do?
Yeah. And how do you cope? Do you have any superstitions? Do you sit in the same chair? Can you not move things? Do you have the same drink? Do you have the same snack? Like it's always fascinating to me because I have like a little routine that I do.
Oh,
I
deal.
watch it. Yeah, I watch it in like the same places. I'm not really a superstitious person, but I like the comfort of being
Superstitious.
in. Yeah, a little stitious. So not the super part.
Yeah, no, I'm not really superstitious at all. So I like to wear certain stuff though, like I'll like to wear the jersey and stuff on those days, but I don't really like have a like, oh, we lost with this. I'll make references jokingly to that stuff, like how Anytime I put Landon in the Ravens and Orioles gear for the first year of his life, we lost. But so I blamed him.
I would, yeah. I mean, he's basically destroyed the Orioles. So
yes, since he's been born, okay, they haven't been good.
no
problem. But every time he wears stuff now, they usually win. So now it's reversed, right? Curse reversed. Okay, I guess we should hit some big notes. It was announced today Carlos Vela is officially retired from football. Yeah, I guess he wasn't anywhere, right? Like he was at LAFC last year for like a brief stint to kind of make a comeback after not being signed anywhere, and then I don't think he was anywhere this year. So I think that's probably the right move. I think it's been 19 years since he made his debut. So he had a nice long career. If I was him, I probably would have done one more year just to hit 20. But I'm not him, so I can't say that. But no,
he's
that's
only
the
36,
kind of stuff.
such young.
Right. Like that's
Not even
Messi,
40 yet.
like coming to Inter Miami. Okay.
Right.
No, but no, just what a good career for Carlos Vela, and may he enjoy all the basketball he wants to watch now, right? Because that's that's what he likes to do.
I was gonna say he's gonna be at a lot of Laker games with Luka.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, watch out. He might show up at the Pacers game. Him and Timothy Chalamet going back and forth.
No, let's not do that. No, I don't want to talk about Timothy Chalamet and stupid Willy Wonka. Never watched that movie. It's really sad because I really like Timothy Chalamet, but he's a Nick. I can't like a Nick. It's not good.
No Knickerbockers here.
Yeah, no, none of that crap. But yeah, Jordan, a former MVP, and Carlos Vela, most single season goals in league history, with 34 in that year. His 49 goal contributions from that campaign were also a league record. 36 years old, a staple for LAFC in their very early history. I guess.
Is that a pun? I'm just kidding.
Maybe.
About the old Staples Center.
The old Staples Center. Crypto.com field.
Oh my god. They kill the names, man.
Yeah. But
yeah, no, great career. We did have some sad news that we didn't get to. I didn't see it until after we podcasted.
I didn't either. Yeah.
It was posted like 12 hours before we podcasted. I didn't see it. But Gadi Kinda passed away last week from an illness. I don't think they specified. Somebody said cancer when I was looking it up, but I don't know if that's actually true or not. But passed away from an illness is all that they officially said. He was like 31 years old, and he was just in the league not that long ago, and he was doing so well for Sporting KC back then. It was a real shock. I feel like we had a couple recent shocks like that in MLS. I know there was another player who passed away recently too. So I mean,
Charlotte FC, yeah. What's his name? The kid that played for Atlanta too. I can't remember his name now. Yeah,
just a real it was a real shock, seeing that notification after we record it. But so thoughts and prayers to his family.
Antoine Walks. That's right. That's who it was.
Oh yeah, a couple years ago. But we had one earlier this year.
Yeah, somebody else too. Yeah.
And I'm blanking, but I think it was another. Was it another Sporting player? That's kind of. I don't think so. I'll see if I can find it again. It's just been
so young.
Yeah,
it's tough and sudden. Like I mean,
it was
I read an article.
Balpenza from Cincinnati.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
He was playing in China when he passed away. But and that was like in a span of a couple weeks. So
right, it's awful.
Okay, so I guess what we're gonna do is we're going to kind of shift a little bit this week. Not as heavy of a focus on MLS this week. What we're gonna do is focus on the U.S. national team roster, how those players performed, and then we'll kind of update you with the table stuff, I think, and maybe some results and stuff. But or else we'd be here for like 3 hours if we then went into a full thing. But the table hasn't moved like drastically enough for us to probably spend the whole hour talking about that. And plus, we got national team stuff coming up soon, very soon. Gold Cup coming up, so definitely want to start highlighting that stuff because that coverage is going to be coming onto the podcast very shortly. Okay, so let's talk about the roster here and some of the players that are missing from the roster. Let's maybe go with that first. Let me see if I can actually pull up the roster itself here.
I mean, I can tell you who's off of it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if I read them, sorry, I was just gonna say if I read them, and then we can be like, oh, what names are kind of popping off of you that they're not on the list here. Okay, so Matt Freese is a goalkeeper, Patrick Schulte, and Zach Steffen, Matt Turner. So we got 4 keepers on the roster. Of course, this website I'm using just completely froze on me.
It's on the Google Doc too, if you want to look at it it's below all the other stuff.
On the podcast. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Am I back? We good?
You're so back.
Okay. All right, here's the roster. We had Matt Freese, Patrick Schulte, Zach Steffen, and Matt Turner as goalkeepers. Defenders, we have Max Arfston from the Crew, Sergino Dest, Alex Freeman from Orlando City, DeJuan Jones from San Jose Earthquakes, Mark McKenzie from Toulouse, Tim Ream from Charlotte, Chris Richards from Crystal Palace, and Miles Robinson from FC Cincinnati. Midfielders, we have Brendan Aronson, Tyler Adams, Sebastian Berhalter, Johnny Cardoso, Luca Della Torre, Diego Luna, Jack McGlynn, Quinn Sullivan, Malik Tillman, Sean Zawadzki. Sorry. Forwards, Patrick Ajaman from Charlotte. We have Balogun from Monaco, Damian Downs from FC Cologne. We have Brian White and Haji Wright. A little bit of a rhyme there to finish us off. So notable names not on the sheet. I guess what stands out to you when it comes to who's missing?
I mean, do we want to go with the glaringly obvious one and
Pulisic.
our captain?
Yeah, let's talk about Pulisic.
Okay. So news came out, Jordan, that Christian Pulisic actually had discussions with Pochettino. This is where I think the story got kind of miscommunicated to different people, but the communication was between Christian, his team, and then also Pochettino and Christian. And there was a decision made that Christian was not going to play in the Gold Cup. And he said, and the reason why he gave that was because he has played a ton of games, 120 games for club and country over the last 2 seasons, Jordan. And this is somebody who has struggled with injuries at time throughout his career, had a really good season with Chelsea before he left and actually got hurt and was playing extremely well. And then has also had some knocks and stuff as other years have gone on. But I guess your thoughts on that, because honestly, when I read that, I'm like, you know what? I mean, it does suck because it's like the last major kind of tournament that the U.S. is playing in, but I don't read too much into it. I really don't.
Says the guy that said trade him in the.
I would trade him.
Text.
Yeah. How do we trade him for somebody else?
Yeah. I was fine with it. I've seen too much backlash against this that I think is absolutely insane.
Right.
He's played a lot of games. He also was dealing with a hip flexor issue, I think they said too. It's like,
Yep.
why risk that? Why risk getting him injured where he might miss the World Cup at this point? That may still happen on the club side. We don't know. But these players don't get breaks, Logan.
Right.
If you are a player on a top side like AC Milan, where you're playing Champions League football, you're playing deep in the Italian Cups, you're playing in the Serie A, and you're also the focal point of your national team, and you're called up for Nations Leagues and friendlies and Gold Cups, he would have no break, because then you also got to keep training during the off season a bit, at least, to keep shape. So, I mean, give him a normal off season with his club where he is able to kind of maybe have a little bit more time off, rest his body a bit before getting back onto the club side. And that might actually be the best decision we can make. Like, let's say he comes out like firing on all cylinders at the beginning of the season and or is top form going into the World Cup because he gets a rest now. I'd rather that than a meaningless Gold Cup. I think people are kind of getting a little too on the Gold Cup, essentially. Like, I saw somebody say if Pochettino loses it, he should get fired. And we don't have enough time for that. We don't.
Right.
We made our bed with rehiring Greg, firing after Copa last year. Now we have to lay in it. And this is what we're doing. Like, this is it, right? Like, you're not going to be able to find another candidate if you fire Pochettino after the Gold Cup. You're not going to find that type of candidate to take you to the World Cup with 2 windows in between that and the World Cup. That's just not going to happen. So we made our bed. We have to lie in it. We're going to see how it works out, but at least work with what we got. And with Pulisic, if it's, his body's going to break down if we play him this summer, then let him rest. Let him rest. People forget that these are human beings. And I think that is the thing that kind of sets me off the most is people are acting the same way they did when Landon Donovan took his break for his mental health. And here's where I find it a little hypocritical. Maybe not the same fans, but we always say, oh, if you need a mental health break, take it, right? That's like the general sentiment around everything, right? Like, oh, we should have more mental health days, right? We should have this, we should have that. But when a player tries to do that or just rest their body anyway, the fans get upset and say, you should go out there because we're paying money and we're doing that. And it is very grim. It's very grim in that regard. And I don't like that. Like, it is what it is. There's people that are still upset with Donovan not playing in that run-up, and that's what made Klinsmann drop him. And it is what it is, right? There will be people that are still pissed about this, even if we win the World Cup. I guarantee it. That will happen still. They'll be like, well, he should have played Gold Cup. No, give him a break. Give these players breaks.
The people that are shouting from the rooftops, Jordan, about Christian taking a break are probably those people that have 70 days of PTO banked up because they're like, rest is for the week. They don't take any vacation.
I actually think it's probably the other way around.
It is.
I think it's probably
it is. Like the people that want the breaks, that work hybrid, that are like, I want to work 3 hours a day, but that guy, he needs to get out there and play for my favorite team. How dare he?
Right.
And
exactly.
It's like, in what world do you not ever have a break from your workplace? If you do not have a break from your workplace, you should leave. It's toxic.
People were getting on Alex Cora, right, for seeing his daughter's graduation.
Yes.
What are we doing, guys? Like, that is a normal thing to
teams are honestly better off just saying, oh, he's sick or he's hurt.
Yeah.
Like, you're better off just saying that. Like, you're better off going, oh yeah. Especially, I mean,
there's a downside with that though too. If you look at basketball, people would be like, well, LeBron is sick, but Michael Jordan played the flu game and won. People get this weird thing in their head with athletes that they don't do with anybody else.
That's true. I mean, and I think a lot of it's because you think you're getting paid all that. It's always that
for a kid's game. You get
paid all this money. Yeah, you get paid all this money to play a kid's game. I only made $17 an hour working at my local grocer. Like, there's always going to be that aspect of it. But I agree with you. I was joking in the group chat.
I know. I
was like,
we can't trade him anyway.
No, we can't. You can't trade him anyway, you moron. But yes. I agree with you, Jordan. But names that were missing, Yunus Musah also asked out, which again, same kind of thing. People have
Same
to
club.
remember this. People have to remember it's Premier League is ending, La Liga, and then I'm
Serie
blanking
A,
Serie
they're all
A
ending.
and Ligue
Yeah.
1. They're all ending in June if they didn't make Champions League or like qualifying. And then once that hits, Jordan, it's June to August, and those teams, but they're back at it in July. Like they don't do
Well, think about
international
it.
windows like in the summer over there unless it's the Euros. So it's like these
The
this
final league
guys haven't had
game,
breaks.
the final league game was Sunday,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have Champions League, I guess, coming up this Saturday for the final.
Yeah.
So if you're not in Champions League, you end it Sunday.
Yeah. Oh,
The
Club
League
World
Cup
Cup
starts.
too.
The league, yeah, exactly, right. So there's
Sorry.
another tournament now
Yeah.
that people are in that they were not in before. The season's even longer. Gold Cup is June 15th.
Mm-hmm.
They got to go to camp first, though. So you literally come off your season. You maybe have a week before you go to
Right.
camp.
And that's
And
traveling.
then if you win the Gold Cup, it's about a month. You're looking at
Yeah.
July. Then you go right to training with your club because the season starts in August. Like they get maybe a couple weeks off a year at this rate. That's it. For these big clubs. It's not like
Yeah.
MLS where like your season ends in if you're a DC United fan, your season ends in October and then you're not playing again till February. That's a long layoff, right? And
Yeah.
then you have like little tournaments in there in the, Nations League or whatever. But it's not right into the summer comps the way that it is for the other clubs. So
Yeah.
it is a tough thing to deal with.
Yeah. Yunus Musah asked out. Anthony Robinson was dropped because he's dealing with an injury. And Weston McKennie, Timothy Weah, and Gio Reyna were blocked by FIFA because they gave them the expanded Club World Cup priority over national teams. So the teams
they want
have
this thing to take off.
Yes. And it's in the United States. I mean, I get it. It's a great marketing thing. Jordan, I was watching the Pacer game and they were like broadcasting it was in game. Like, when they run the little things at the bottom and they talk about it, they were talking about the Club World Cup. That's crazy. Like they were talking about your favorite. Yeah, it was nuts. I'll have to see if they'll do it again tonight. I'll put it on Max. It's like on the Max app, and who is it? It's Kevin Harlan that does the games, and he'll talk about the Club World Cup is coming. Your team, your favorite city, blah blah blah. And I was like, no way, they're talking about it because it's broadcasted on TNT. So. Or Turner Sports.
Oh, yeah. Because I think they licensed it out from the Zone, right? Or whatever it is, because that's who has it. So I think Turner is licensing some games. Oh, by the way, what do we have to do to get Kevin Harlan to call a Club World Cup game? Can we do that, please?
What do we have to do to get them called?
To get Kevin Harlan to call a Club World Cup game.
Honestly, like all the legendary broadcasters, and Kevin Harlan knows football or soccer, I guess I'll call it, but
he knows
soccer. Yeah, he knows soccer. I mean, there's a lot of them that do know soccer. I think Spiro can do some soccer too. It would be interesting to see.
Kevin Harlan's like my favorite, so having him do like the Club World Cup, he could do it at the same time as the finals. He'd be like, I'm calling both games. Did
you see when he was? When they accidentally mixed up the chicken wings with something else, and he was like, "What am I even saying right now?"
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Oh my gosh, I gotta send you that. It's it's CarMax and chicken wings, and he's like, "In your new car, you can get baked chicken wings." What are we doing? Are we having baked chicken wings in cars now? Are we sitting in drive-thrus with our new cars? Like, what's happening? What's going on? And then Reggie Miller's laughing the whole time. He's like, "What are you doing?" It's funny. They clearly mixed up the teleprompter. It was funny.
But no, that's interesting. Club World Cup priority over the national
team. I thought so too. Yeah, but also Josh Sargent, Joe Scally, Carter Vickers, and Tanner Tessman were omitted based off of football decisions, as Pochettino put it. So
makes sense. Sargent
no,
not cutting it, right?
No. Scally too. There was a high upside for him, and there's still upside for both of them, I think. But these MLS kids are, and we're going to talk about them, but these MLS kids are they're hungry. They're like, I want a spot. I want to go. So kudos to them for pushing that button.
Yeah, 16 of the players picked are from MLS, the most in a FIFA window since we sent the B team to the Gold Cup. And I would say we're sending a B team this year too, right? Like,
yeah,
this is not our strongest squad, but it is, it's a very interesting squad. I think that's the part that I'm looking at. Like, oh, we'll see how it goes. Now, I originally wanted them to bring everybody they could, but you can't if they have the Club World Cup priority anyway. And then you need to give some players a rest, like Musah and Pulisic. So, look, it is what it is. I think the roster being expanded here, it gets Pochettino a look at other players that can maybe fill in if needed, if something happens. I don't know how many of these players are up for actual spots, specifically in the midfield.
right.
Specifically in the midfield, just because so many of those players missing are in the midfield. But like forward wise, I think what we're seeing here, not to transition fully to it, but
It's a tryout.
I think I almost think Brian White's making the team.
I
at
do
the World
too.
Cup, right? Like,
yep, that's what I was thinking.
it's looking likely. He's called in like every time now.
Well, he's been scoring. Why not? Right?
Yeah. That's how I feel. Look, I understand people are going to do the whole like, it's MLS type of stuff, but there is something to say about confidence in seeing yourself score that plays in the mind of goal scorers. That you want whoever's in form scoring goals, pretty much no matter the level. I think. I mean, there's World Cup teams out there that have players that do not play in the top 5, that have goal scorers that score goals because that's just what they do, right? Like, and that might even be the launching point for some of these players. We've seen it with like, James Rodriguez when he was at Colombia in 2014 and had a great World Cup. He then makes the move to Real Madrid. The same sort of thing can happen to the Americans here. If like one of them takes off by scoring goals or playing a really good tournament, they can make the move. Just because they're in MLS now doesn't mean they can't be a good player at a big club. But, one thing I think that's really shocked me is how Pochettino has been so pro MLS. And I've seen the conspiracies of like the Federation is making him do this. I don't think Pochettino would take the job if he was.
I was going to say he
wouldn't
come near
like
it. Yeah, right. He would not. He could coach anywhere in the world. Why the hell would he do
exactly.
that? Like, it's so stupid. Like he could literally go make millions coaching a mid-level Premier League team. Like,
right.
He can make more money doing that. He can get more exposure doing that. Why on earth would he come to the United States just to coach? It doesn't make any sense. But like you said, Jordan, I mean, it's a great launching pad. I mean, even in a Gold Cup where maybe an Alex Freeman gets a chance, he's been great with Orlando City. Patrick Schulte, who's going to be a Euro level goalkeeper, he's that good with the crew. Sebastian Berhalter's been excellent, which is a fun little wrinkle to throw in there. Luca De La Torre has had a resurgence since he's come back and played for San Diego. Diego Luna, same kind of thing. Jack McGlynn, same kind of thing. Quinn Sullivan. I mean, people forget because his brother's Cabin, but Quinn Sullivan's a very good player. So we will see. I'm interested to see, like you said, Jordan, I'm just so tired of this team not having a goal scorer. Like it's really just bugs me that you can't find anybody in the pool to play consistently at the number 9 level. Like it's beyond annoying at this point. So if Brian White scores goals, by all means, we better see him in the summer of 2026.
Yeah, no, that's it's been a problem we've had since Clint Dempsey and Josie Altidore, like where we don't have a scorer.
Dude, Donovan scored more goals than all of our number 9s combined, basically, in this team, right?
But I mean, like,
I know what you meant. Yeah.
In 2014, we had Josie and Clint, and you're like, that we have a good striker core. Josie goes down in the first like 10 minutes of the game, game 1, but then we still scored. Like we still scored goals.
DeMarcus Beasley has more goals than this collective number 9 for the 2024 or 5 roster.
I would say most do, right? Because how many
Sad but true.
appearances have these people made?
I was gonna say,
Balogun and
Florian, yeah,
Haji Wright are probably the most
noteworthy.
of like been called in a lot of times, right? Ajamong and Brian White are starting to break into that, right? And then I don't think
Damian
Downs
is young. Yeah, he's very young.
But I would assume that's going to be more of a like, hey, just hang with us and watch, train with us, get used to us, and then type of thing. But no, really curious to see how the forwards are going to work. Look, this is a competition that even with this type of squad, you should be able to win the Gold Cup. Are you going to win it? It's not a guarantee, right? It's not how soccer works, but especially after we did not win the Nations League, right? First time ever not winning the Nations League. That stings still. But I'm trying to look up.
Well, like you said, though, these guys have all competed against all these MLS guys have competed against guys on that whole Canadian roster is pretty much MLS too. And then you throw in Mexico, same kind of thing. Like they played those Liga MX teams, and those guys are on the Liga MX team. So it's not like these guys have never seen these other players. They're going to be very comfortable. That's what happens in your region. You're very comfortable against teams in your region because you have to play them all the time. You see these guys growing up. So
it's a very winnable group. We have Haiti, Trinidad and Tobago, and Saudi Arabia. Now, couple trap games here. You should beat Haiti. Okay? Trinidad and Tobago, always a thorn in the side. Okay, always a thorn. Saudi Arabia did beat Argentina. In 2022.
Might have paid off the refs to do it, but they did it.
They did it. Gosh darn it! So it is. That's a little like. That's how we'll know if we're in a full spiral. If we don't even get out of this group, you're like, okay, we're not like. If we don't get out of this group, expectations for next year are at an all-time low.
Right. Right. Just get out of the group.
It would be like win a game. I don't know.
Just please get out of the group, please. Please.
That would be the biggest bummer. And it would really be that we screwed the pooch somewhere along the line from when we got awarded this World Cup to now. And look, I'm kind of used to that, though, right? I'm going through the same thing with the Orioles, where the young guns are not living up to the potential they should have. It reminds me a lot of this soccer team where we were being told these guys are great, and they're not playing like they should. And you sit there and you're like, what is the issue? Is it the coach? Is it the federation or the club, like in the Orioles case, like development. What is the issue here? Is it just that they're not as good as they were sold to be? Are they not living up to potential? Was their potential wrong? Like those are the type of things that we have to sit and analyze down the road, right? Like that's something that in like 10 years we'll look back at this team and be like, turns out they weren't that great, or all it took was getting Pochettino and now they turn it around, or like, oh, maybe that was the wrong hire, or we shouldn't have rehired Greg, that then led us down to having a short time frame. There's a lot of stuff we'd be able to analyze if something goes wrong this summer and next summer, for sure. But I don't even know how to fix this right now. Again, this is like what's so different about soccer, national team wise, is that you can't fix the team. There's no quick fix, right? There's no like transfers. There's no trades. These are the players in your pool, and they're either going to succeed or they're not.
Dual nationals are the only things that can change somewhat that trajectory, right? I mean, we've seen that, but that doesn't happen very often. I mean, it's very rare. And then also, I mean, soccer, Jordan, is such a team sport. I mean, it's like baseball. Like there's just so many moving parts that you have to get right to be good. Whereas basketball, you get two good guys and you can go a long way. Baseball and soccer are not really the same. You got to have same thing with football. Like you got American football. You've got to have a good core. And the other thing, I think you made a really great point we're not going to know the effects of what we're going to feel it in the moment because we're going to be like, well, this was disappointing. They should have done what they've done. But you got to also remember, and I know we keep saying this, and I know people go, well, you can't just keep saying they're young, but it's true. Like, they're still young. Like, it sucks because of where this American World Cup lies, because these guys are still not to their prime yet. A lot of these guys are not in their prime yet. So, it does suck that if this was like 2032 or like, what was it? It'd be 2030 is the next World Cup. If it was 2030, then I think we'd be a little bit more excited, because I think you would really see a difference in this talent pool. But because we've had to replenish everything, because we had such a gap in those generations, this is just like, Jordan, this is just the start. That's what I would keep telling people that are going to come in and watch the World Cup or listening to this episode, because they're like, how's the World Cup? I mean, we're a year out. How are we looking? This is just the start. I mean, we're going to pluck off a couple good pieces, but I would say this team, Jordan, the expectation would probably be right now, if I had to say, here's what my expectation would be, is to at least try to win a game in the round of 16. I don't think they can, but that would be my goal for this team because of how poorly they played.
And it's all going to depend on the group, right? Like,
yeah.
That's what I think is so laughable every time people put that kind of stuff out there. Because I've seen it since Pochettino was hired, where they say like, okay, we're hosting, we should get to the quarterfinals. And you're like, we don't know the group. So if we don't know the group, and then once you get out of that group, we don't know, are you getting Argentina right away? Are you getting Germany right away? Or are you getting a favorable draw to get to the quarterfinal? Plus, you have to throw in, this is an expanded World Cup, which means there's going to be another round.
Yeah.
We're going to have like a round of 32.
Yeah.
Instead of 16, right? We're going to have round 32, then 16. So when I start thinking of like what the expectation is, it's after the draw happens that I sit there and start looking at, okay, and we did it for 2022 because we did the same sort of thing where people are like, Greg has to do this, Greg has to do that. And I'm like, wait until the draw. Then when you get the draw, you're like, okay, this is a favorite, maybe a tough draw that might change some things, but there's a path here. If we get a draw that ends up being super hard, then the goal changes to get out of the group. If the draw is favorable, the goal is win the round of 32. If you're not going to get matched with a hard group after you get out of it, then the path changes to win the round of 16. Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
You have to see how everything plays out. And like, all right,
that's a good point.
If we win the group, do we get France? If so, you're like, damn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe now we just have to try to win that game if we can do that. But like, it's not guaranteed. Yeah. But if you get drawn with the expanded World Cup and you get somebody like a Canada or Qatar or something, the goal would be, all right, get past them, get to the next round, and then win that one. So it's all very, you can't do that until the draw happens, and then from there you're able to kind of start seeing the World Cup a little bit more. The draw is one of my favorite days leading up to a World Cup because it becomes real.
Yeah.
Like that's when it becomes real for me. Is all right, we know who we're playing on what day, where. Like that kind of stuff is really fun.
You also look at their players, like what players you get to, that's always exciting for me too, is like, who do we get to see? Like, because, we don't get to see the Americans oftentimes take on Kevin De Bruyne or like, like it was always fun for me when I was like,
when we played that Belgium, came to MLS.
Oh yeah. Well, if we would
going somewhere else.
Back then when we played, who was the big, oh gosh, that's going to bug me. Who's the big Belgian guy? The with the big afro. No, the big afro.
Oh, no. Yeah, Flaney.
Yeah.
Marwan Flaney.
I always wanted to play him for some reason, and we got to. It was bad, but we got to play him, and that was cool. Like, we got to go up guys that you watch in Premier League, and you're like,
almost won that game.
Cool. We did. It was very close.
Here's a fun topic real quick, is like top 5 days in a World Cup cycle, right? For me, it's like the draw, right, is one of them. The day the Panini stickers come out is a top day for me. Okay, that's one. like first group stage game for the US is a big one. And then
Day 1 and day 2 are great of the World
day
Cup.
1, day 2 great. And then
Yeah.
up there somewhere is the final as well. Like
Yeah.
that is one of the top days of the 5. And maybe like roster release or something would be a top 5 day or something. But
I'm
so if you hit
assuming
this
they're going
point,
to have a big
yeah. Tell us your favorite top 5 days leading up to the World Cup. So that's what I like. Or during a World Cup. What was I just about to look up real quick? I was going to look up something that was related to what I was just talking about with the World Cup.
When's the World Cup draw?
That's in December this year. Let's see.
Mark it down. What day is that? It says it'll probably be on a weekday. It's always on a weekday.
It's usually during a weekday. But I think it would be, since it's here, it should be our time instead of like, I remember being at work listening to it because it was at lunchtime at Qatar. So it should be evening. We could probably do
like a 6 p.m., 7
live.
p.m.
Do like a live?
Could we do a live on that? Could we watch?
We can do a live on that.
Let's do that. That's fun.
We would just react to it as it's going. But yeah, go ahead.
So while you're looking that up, I was just going to mention the fact that 16 MLS players make the cut over the weekend. 7 central midfielders and attackers played, and 5 of them scored. You had braces scored by Ajiman and Brian White, Quinn Sullivan's banger, Diego Luna and Luca De La Torre also got on the score sheet. So those guys balled out when I'm assuming I think they announced that right before. So I think they came out with a little extra out there. So, and then they also, Jordan, the U.S. men's national team will have 2 friendlies against Turkey and Switzerland, and then the Gold Cup as well. So they do have some very competitive games coming up against 2 teams.
Those are
pretty good,
some good friendlies. I feel like,
Switzerland usually a pretty solid team. So,
okay, so all they know right now is December. They don't know what date for the draw yet. So, that'll happen once we find that out. The plan will be for us to go live if it's in the evening and do a full reaction show as it's going on. That'd be fun. That'd be a
blast. Yeah.
What I was going to look up. That's what I have my countdown app. I have exactly how many days it is until the first US game, which is in 381 days. We're getting shockingly close to a year out. Okay. June 12th, 2026. It's a Friday.
You're going to have a great birthday. Like you usually do when there's World Cup around because it falls around.
No, I actually usually don't.
Well,
June 26, 2010, we lost to Ghana in the round of 16.
At least you get a World Cup around your birthday.
True.
You know what I mean? Like January is a really slow month for everything. I mean, there's playoff football, but the Dolphins are never involved. So
just a real bummer though, that it was like June 26, 2011, we lost to Mexico in the Gold Cup final. I have those 2 inseared in my head from
new memories this week or this year, coming year.
Yeah. Hopefully. Club World Cup starts in 19 days. So I got that listed here. So we got 19 days until the Club World Cup starts. That'll be fun.
We're still waiting for our media invite to the World Cup.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll try to like.
When we cover it, and
we do.
Yeah, there's not a lot of clubs, or there's not a lot of places that do, and we do cover it. So if they look back at we need to make a playlist of all of our U.S. men's national team stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I do have a playlist for it actually. So just send it to them.
We're here. Let's go. Invite Jordan and I, and we can come up and watch.
You said though, you were mentioning. Did you fully mention how good everybody played? I
yes.
I was looking for
this. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Ajiman and White scored. Sullivan scored. Luna and De La Torre both scored too. So five of them. Jordan, that's nuts. That the day they get selected, those young cats.
Oh man, the Sullivan goal was something else.
Yeah.
He's incredible. What a game that one was. 3-1. I thought we were going to win that game.
I did too. I think they did. Then
87th minute, Messi with the free kick, and then 90 plus 5 right for Segovia or whatever to score. Yeah. Bummer, but it was a draw at least, and the Union keep on trucking along top of the East. So,
and you almost knocked Miami all the way out of the playoff contention. with their 1 point.
Last, it really
they're hanging
would.
out down there. They're in 8th or 7th now.
Yeah, what is especially when we took like the 3-1 lead on them. I was like, man, Miami is broken
Yeah.
right now. But maybe they'll get some maybe they'll get some vibes that'll help them after making that comeback. Because there's a big comeback on the road against the top of the East. And, they sit 7th place now at 23 points. They still have a game in hand. If they win that game in hand, they are sitting with Nashville and Orlando and Columbus with 27 points.
Yeah.
So still within shot of first place of the East if they can just win that game in hand that they have. But right now that's been a problem for them, winning those games. So we'll see, right? I mean, like, they had a couple losses in a row and then they had a draw. So they have not been firing on all cylinders like they were. But yeah, so Cincy ended up losing to Atlanta of all teams, and that keeps Philly top of the East. So really, hey, I am at the point as a Union fan of I'm just rolling with it. This is going to become one of my favorite seasons, even if they don't win at all, just in the sense of like
the
my
low
expectations
expectations.
the floor, man.
Right.
So this is fun. This has been a fun season.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, when I was thinking about this team earlier today, Jordan was making the notes and stuff. I was like, Jordan's probably gonna be thrilled with, because like I think we all expected them to not be very good. Like
even that draw, like we blew a win, but I'm like, you know what?
Should have won the game.
We should have won the game, but guess what? Yeah. It's Miami, whatever. We're still riding high right now, so I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good with it. Nashville is up to 3rd in the East as well, and they actually lead. They actually are. Just what a shock, right? Even without Walker Zimmerman, they've had some good defense that's been stepping in. I think he was on the bench this weekend. Maybe not fully healed, but yeah, just Nashville has been a real shock this season with how good they've been. So I'm kind of buying into them a bit more as they've been continuing to keep pace.
Yeah, I mean, they got some really good teams in this league that are starting to separate themselves a little bit, Jordan, I think, from the rest of the pack. I think Nashville obviously throwing there, Vancouver, Cincy, Philly, San Diego, question mark, right? Like all of them playing some really good soccer. Orlando hasn't like haven't lost in 12 games. So some really good teams right now in the tops of these conferences.
Charlotte ended up beating the Crew.
Yeah.
3-2.
They needed that.
They're
And
rebounding. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they've been awful. They really needed something. And to beat a Crew team like that, that's some good momentum.
We had I gotta just call this out here. Sorry, Andrew. Fire are not back right now. They're extinguished. NYCFC beat them 3-1. Fire got 2 red cards in this game. What the hell was going on there?
Yeah. Did you just throw a blanket on them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just like they have like a good run and then they have to trip up apparently, and then they'll probably go on another good run and then they'll get tripped up again. It's just what happens. But they're 11th place in the East now. They're tied with the Revs, who are above them.
I think they're going to be the odd man out, them in New England.
Well, if Atlanta can get rolling too, right? Atlanta won against a good Cincy team. They finally got the monkey off their back. They won a game. They're 14 points now. If that gives them any sort of confidence where they can keep on rolling, they can go on a run here too. But they're 5 points off of 10 and 11, and they're now 7 points off of the playoff spot with Red Bulls. So it's going to take a lot for Atlanta to make a comeback, but just a huge win for them against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And Montreal got a draw with LAFC, which I thought was funny because I was watching Countdown and they were like, "Who's going to win this game?" And they were like, "LAFC is going to win this game." And then they did not. So I thought
they didn't know. Yeah, no, it did not happen.
I know we do that every week on the show, but I think
We
it's
announce or
funny when
jinx
it
them. Yeah.
happens to professionals. So I think that's
Yeah.
funny.
You give them the announcer jinx a little bit, right?
As soon as they
Podcaster
said
jinx.
like LAFC's not going to win, and they
Right.
didn't. Orlando beat Portland 1-0. I think this is their longest stretch, right? Like
In club
12-game
history.
streak in club history.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we're rolling, man. Look at us go.
McGuire?
What?
Duncan McGuire scoring?
He did score, yeah. His first goal since his shoulder injury last season, rotator cuff. So another name, Jordan, that could eventually throw himself in the mix. Probably not this World Cup, but the following. So it's exciting though. Orlando got Atuesta back, who's been out for about a month, and he looked really good. They've needed that. That's what they've been really missing. That creative midfielder that can also get back and defend. But they've defended really well. Shockingly, Alex Freeman has really just taken over, and this team's flying high. Pasalic got called into the Croatia national team, that's great. I mean, that's a really good Croatian side. So
yeah, interesting. That's the bad side is when you get international players, and then
that are that good.
they start missing games,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, now since we don't, take a break, we now have to worry about. We have to worry about that now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to real quick. Just Seattle beat Dallas 1-0. Red Bulls beat DC 2-0. But don't worry. DC sold 6,000 hot dogs. All is right with the world.
When you sent that, I thought you did that. I thought
No.
I only saw the picture at first. I didn't really read like it was Jordan. What a joke.
Official tweet.
I get it from the social media side. You're involved with the team and you want them to do well, but also like they have to do that too because it's fun for fan engagement. But did you see the responses to it?
Oh yeah.
Why are we worried? I love that. My favorite thing as a fan is when fans tag the social media team, like the Pacers or at Cincy, at Philadelphia Union, whatever it might be. Like they're going to do something about it.
Yeah,
yeah. Hey, Philadelphia, how about you sign more players? And they're tagging the admin team of the social media, who are probably just college kids or fresh out of college. They're like, dude, I don't have any say. What do you want me to do?
Social media manager. Do you think they're going to Ernst Tanner? Like they said, you got to buy some more players. Like they're not going to have they're not going to do that to them.
Right.
They stay in their lane.
Ernst doesn't even know who they are. They're like, oh yeah, that's the guy with the camera. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Ernst is probably trying to get rid of him. He's probably trying to trade them too.
Trade them too. We'll trade you our social media manager
for a bag of chips.
SKC drew with New England 3-3. That's an interesting result. Soto drew with Austin 1-1. Colorado beat St. Louis 1-0. San Jose and Houston drew 3-3. NYCFC beat Chicago, like I said, and Atlanta beat Cincy 4-2. So a lot of those results there. Did I miss a result that I was looking? San Diego. San Diego came back and won 2-1 over the LA Galaxy. And Vancouver, 4-point lead in the Western Conference with a game in hand as they continue to just have a great season. They beat RSL 3-2, which was breaking their 3-match winless streak across all competitions. So they're getting it back in the groove here. Now, of course, they have the final set for Sunday, right, for the Champions Cup. So that is, we'll see how they do. What are your thoughts? Do you think they got it in the bag here? Should they be happy with just making it to the final? Like, I don't know.
That's a really tough matchup for them. I mean, they've gone through really tough teams in this competition, but like, I mean, that's a Liga Mekis giant. You know what, Jordan? I'm going to say let's get wild. I think Vancouver might actually win it. I mean, it's a really good.
I'm feeling it. Why count them out?
Right.
Let's go. They're going to beat Cruz Azul and become the second MLS team to win and the first Canadian team.
They're going to win
that Champions
They're going to
Cup.
Club World Cup, Jordan. They're going to be the
Yeah.
top club team in the world.
I don't think they can get in anymore, right?
No.
Yeah.
The next one, can't they? Would they
Yeah,
qualify?
yeah. If
Right?
it continues, I
Right.
don't know. I know they want it to continue, but I feel like they had to really fight to get a TV deal, and so I just don't know how this competition will keep on going.
Do the LA Galaxy, Jordan, beat the record for all-time lowest points ever in a season? Because I think it's 14. They're at 4.
Maybe we're like a third of the way in the season, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, they'd finish with 9, like 9 or 12. It'd be close.
It'll be close, yeah.
Oh
That's
well,
so
they
sick.
won it all last year. Just,
Right. I mean, at this point,
you're a
what do
fan
you
of
do?
the Galaxy and you're upset. Just I don't know.
Yeah.
Screw off, I guess.
You know what's funny is like usually when a team wins a championship, their tickets are really expensive the next year. I wonder what the ticket prices look like in Carson
Not
right
this
now.
year.
They're like, oh, please, they probably pay people to come to the games.
Yeah. Because at first they probably started off expensive.
Oh, they had to,
and
yeah.
then you're like, ooh, this is going sideways.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our name and shame of the week here. Player of the week, Logan. You have.
Yeah, so I actually went with Patrick Achiman, U.S. men's national team number 9, starting number 9 in the World Cup in 2026. Patrick Achiman. Who'd you go with?
I'm gonna be a homer. Ty Baribo,
That's
2 goals.
fair though. That's fair.
He's scoring like crazy now again, which is great. He kind of had like a little bit of a lull. He's coming back on now, so I like that. A goal of the week, I'm probably going to be a homer as well, and I'm going to go with the Quinn Sullivan goal.
That was a damn good goal. Yeah.
But I see who you have, and this is
Yeah,
a worthy one, I guess.
Yeah, I'll match you. Lionel Messi hooks it around that wall, and I mean, Jordan, it was like a freaking rocket. It was like, oh my gosh.
This is a good goal.
He still got it, huh? He's pretty good. I wonder if anybody's ever heard of that man.
No? Who?
Yeah.
Messi?
Yeah, it got messy for the Union.
All right, let's look ahead to our game of the week and shame of the week for the upcoming matches. Logan, what do you have for game of the week?
Yeah, I think this one's going to be real fun. Build some history here. San Diego, who sits second, versus the number 5 Seattle Sounders. Jordan, the Sounders have won 3 of their last 5 games. They be climbing up that table. They are coming up the table up at the Western Conference. I think they are trying to fight for home field because, Jordan, playing in Lumen Field, because you played there, playing at Lumen Field, it can be extremely difficult. Right. So if they can do that, I think that would be quite the feat. And they're getting healthier, Jordan, as the days go on. They're getting healthier. Ryan Kent's been really good in the games that he's played in. And then once they get everybody back, this team, we've talked about them. They seem to always have this kind of weird turnaround right in the middle of the season, and then they come storming back and are a threat to win that side of the bracket. So San Diego also looks great. Chucky Lozano, maybe the best player in the league right now.
Yeah, so we have games on, I forgot to read them all out, but we have games Wednesday and Saturday. So like Wednesday, we have Atlanta, Orlando. We have DC, New England, Cincy, Dallas, Miami, Montreal, NYCFC, Houston, Red Bull, Charlotte, Toronto, Philly, Columbus, Nashville, Austin, RSL, Seattle, San Diego, LA, San Jose, Portland, Colorado, Vancouver, Minnesota. So your game comes from the Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Should we pick one for Wednesday and Saturday, or how about you pick game of the week for Wednesday? I'll do Saturday. How about that?
Is that really the Wednesday game? Did I get that wrong?
Yeah, Wednesday. It says Wednesday,
I did.
May 28th.
I wasn't even paying attention. Honestly, I was not paying attention. If I drop out of this podcast because there's some serious storms going on right now. Sorry, what did you ask me to do?
I was just gonna say, so your game and shame of the week will be for Wednesday. I'll pick Saturday.
Oh, got you. Okay, good. Because
so what's your shame of the week for Wednesday?
Yeah, it is the Galaxy versus San Jose. That can't be fun. That's gonna be or San Jose, or it could be too fun.
It could be the best fun. It is Bruce
could
Arena going up against his own 7. Club.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two disappointing teams right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's my shame of the week. You couldn't pay me to watch that. Well, you could, but
How much? How much do I have to pay you to
I
watch
mean,
that game?
honestly, $100, I'd watch it. You
It's at
pay me 50
10:15
bucks.
though, so you have to make sure you're
Oh
not falling
gosh,
asleep.
never mind. Midweek too. Yeah, probably. Yeah, a couple hundred.
Okay, all right.
I'm
I'll
old.
wire it over.
Thanks.
Make you stay up late.
Yeah. What's your
You
game
could
of the
just
week?
record your Pacers
Oh,
podcast while watching the game.
I could.
You can do
That's
that.
true.
Saturday, May 31st, we have St. Louis, San Jose, Nashville, NYCFC, Montreal, New England, Cincy, DC, Miami, Columbus, Red Bull, Atlanta, Orlando, Chicago, Toronto, Charlotte, Dallas, Philly, Houston, SKC, LA versus RSL, LAFC versus Club America in the Club World Cup. That's what it says. Oh, it's the play-in. That's right. They're doing the play-in for that. And San Diego versus Austin. Then Sunday, June 1st, we have Seattle, Minnesota, and then Cruz Azul versus Vancouver for the Champions Cup. Game of the week, obviously, is the Champions Cup final. Watch that if you're going to watch anything on Sunday. But MLS-wise, I will go ahead and pick. It's got to be Miami, Columbus. They just played each other a couple weeks ago. They were both undefeated. Both have kind of hit a lull. Miami more so. But this game's at Miami now. Miami won the last one to stay undefeated, then immediately tanked. Like what can happen here, right? Yeah. Miami and Columbus. It's really interesting how they are meeting back up less than a month later, I think.
Yeah.
And the table is almost completely flipped from being both of them undefeated to both of them struggling right now. So I'm really curious on how that's going to work.
That's a good one.
Shame of the week. I'm going to go with you do not want to watch this game at all. Houston SKC. Lock it in. Former rivalry. They used to meet in the playoffs all the time, but lately SKC sucks and Houston hasn't been the best. But and I don't think there's really like a lot of stars on those teams where you're like, oh, well, I have to tune in to at least see this person or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong.
No,
the kids are wrong.
Kids these days, jeez.
Let's see, because Houston sits in the West. Yeah, 10th place. Wow, RSL all the way down in 12th. Okay. So that's our name of the week, game of the week and shame of the week over for Wednesday and Saturday. Thank you all for watching and listening along with us. You may have mentioned us. You may have heard us mention Logan's Pacers podcast. You want to plug it if you're a Pacers fan listening to the show.
Yeah, if you're out there or you hate the Knicks, it
like
is the Pacers Fever show, and you can find us anywhere you find our podcast and over on YouTube. So looking forward to it. I cover the Fever as well, the Indiana Fever. So both professional basketball teams in the state of Indiana. Thanks for letting me plug it. That's fun.
Yeah, no problem.
Want to plug your podcast? I can just leave you here for a couple minutes.
Yeah, I gotta wind up a bit. Okay, Soups and Sabers pretty much covers it all now. We mixed in a lot of you just froze at the funniest face. But anyway, you're back now. But Soups and Sabers covers us all. We mixed in our Marvel, our DC, our Star Wars podcast, folded them all under one branding. Soups and Sabers, where we talk, like I just said, Marvel, DC, fantasy stuff, Star Wars, all of that good stuff is over on Soups and Sabers, just at Soups and Sabers, and you can find us there. And I'm working on a very interesting baseball podcast that I have set up. I'm recording stuff, I'm researching stuff. It's going to be all about old time baseball. Not really ready to share that yet, but just in case if you're also a baseball fan, that's something to keep an eye out on when I share that on socials. But it's been a lot of fun using, my history degree, I guess, for some reason. And why not use it for podcasting, which is some of the another favorite passion of mine. So, All right. Well, that will wrap us up here at Stateside Show on all of our social media. Thank you all for watching and listening along. We'll catch you later. Logan's got to watch the Knicks and Pacers. I got to run to the grocery store. We'll see you next time.